For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
Yes, we are ready.
I don't, oh my God, no.
Do you have a lot of confidence in that?
I do. I actually have a tremendous amount of confidence in this topic. And so we are rocking and rolling. I'm Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad, marketing gunslinger, and not the rock star. Okay. I am not the rock star. And I am joined with my consort in crime. I am joined by, come on, let's say it together, all right?
The Dave Loomis.
But see,
Yes.
I shouldn't say that with you because your voice is
the voice.
And by the way, any of you that are looking for voiceovers, please go back to the description of the podcast, and you will see the Dave's contact information there. He's very expensive, but as you can tell, he is darn well worth it. Now, I don't remember if it was the last episode that we did, or maybe I might have accidentally skipped something. Mm-hmm. But I know that in a very recent episode, either the last one or the one right before that, we ended it by because we were talking about customer service and how customer service. Most people, most companies say that they have the best customer service. And yeah, you know what? And not just most, all companies say that. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it would be. I haven't heard a company that says we have sort of second-rate customer service, or we have the
exactly
third
right.
best customer service.
That's right. They say our products are awesome and we have the best customer service. And I call that statement a vague generality because there's no specifics behind it. And what I often tell my clients is, let's find out. Do you have great customer service? If you do, you must have some stories to tell. Because
Correct.
we want examples to share with our prospects so that they have confidence that we will take good care of them, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to share, a couple of examples of specific great customer service stories, meaningful specifics to kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about. All right. Do you want to go? Why don't you go first? Why don't you tell me one really great customer service story?
Okay. I'll tell you a good one. And these are true. These are true stories.
No, I've made mine. Mine are all made.
Oh,
up.
You made yours up.
I thought that's what the exercise
Okay,
was.
no. Okay, they're true stories.
All right, then I have to think of true stories.
Yeah, while I'm talking through this one, you think of a real one.
I promise I will.
Sounds good. Okay, I can't remember. I don't think I may have mentioned this in passing, but I'm going to tell the actual story. So there's a company that does background screening. So for other companies. So if you're a big hospital system that hires thousands of people a year, and right now they're really in the thick of it right now.
Yeah.
Because as we're recording this, they're in COVID and there's high turnover and high demand and all that sort of thing. So the background screening, you've got to be able to do it. You got to be able to deliver, right? What you are saying in quick time. So this company that does this, I interviewed one of their customers, and the customer told me they're in a big health system down south, maybe Atlanta area, let's just say. And they said, we went through all the things that you would normally go through in one of these interviews. How do they do on this? How do they do on that? Open-ended questioning, things like that. And, it was sort of standard, to be honest, at first. It was, ticking all the boxes. So how's their technology? Oh, their platform's fine. It's great. It's, as good as the others. Yeah. Okay, great. Oh, that's good. What about the time? They're fine. Their turnaround time's great. Yeah. What about the pricing? Pricing's right in the box. Yeah, we're fine. All that. But well, what is special about them? I mean, because you're retaining them. You're continuing to work with them. And they said, this one person, she, we were going to have a hurricane, and she offered her house to us.
What?
I said, what? Yeah. Well, it's our
I said
rep
what?
from.
I said what?
Yeah,
you said what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not an everyday occurrence when your customer service rep from your background screening company, that's one of, if you're in HR at a big hospital system, you work with about 100 companies. So you got 100 reps out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And one of them says, hey, proactively calls you up and says, hey, I saw that there's going to be a hurricane and that they're evacuating your area where you live. Do you want to come to my house, which is out, in the safe area, and you can bring your family and stay with us?
Wow.
And she's told so many people about that offer.
Sure.
She actually didn't take it up. Actually, what she said is, no, but I need to find a hotel, and it's really hard to find a hotel. And our customer service rep helped her find a hotel for her family. So it wasn't at her house in the end, but she found her hotel. And when I thought of this story, and you'll tell a story, and I'm gonna maybe I'll tell another example too. I was thinking, what's really the common thread that we're talking about here? And I've got a whole bunch of other stories too. We don't even have time for all of them. But it's when companies do things that are very far outside of the expected job description.
Bingo.
I think that's it. Don't you?
Exactly what it is. And it's and they're very personal.
Yes.
At least I think that the vast majority
very,
of stories
very
really great
personal.
They're personal stories.
Yes.
And that's a really great. I mean, just the fact she offers her home. She's saying, "Come and stay there," with her. I mean, that's tremendous.
Yeah, it's definitely above and beyond, and it's when one person cares about another person. We keep using this term human to human.
Human to human.
It's our B2B podcast, but really it's still humans.
Still human to human.
So what's one from your end?
Well, I'm going to share one that kind of relates to an old client of mine, Nordstrom. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because, Nordstrom is classically known for their customer service. But if you look at their commercials that they have or any type of promotions that they have or anything like that, they don't talk about their customer service. They almost never do. And that was something that, when I was working with them, we were kind of talking about, how do we promote this? And it became what I called the Nordstrom myth, that stories of Nordstrom's amazing customer service needed to be shared, and that's kind of what's happened. And mine was a personal story involving my daughter Kelly.
Okay,
she was in her teens, probably, senior in high school or something like that. She went to a local Nordstrom to get a pair of shoes, and she's trying the shoes on. And this woman who is taking care of her says, do you have other Nordstrom shoes? And Kelly says, oh, yeah, I've got actually a few pair of shoes from Nordstrom. She said, and I've got this one pair that I just really, really like a lot. They're beautiful shoes, but they hurt my feet. And she said, and I still wear them because they're just really, I get a lot of compliments for them. And, and I want to, but gosh, it's just weird how, they just hurt my feet. And the saleswoman said, "Oh, bring them back." And Kelly, being the properly raised child that she was, she said, "I've had these shoes for, over 3 years. I have worn them. Okay. And, it's just that they kind of hurt a little bit when I wear them and stuff like. I'm not going to bring them back because it's not like you can resell them or anything like that." And the woman said to her, she said, "Every time you put those shoes on, you think of Nordstrom. Bring them back."
Very wise.
Yeah. And
Very wise.
Kelly took him back. And I thought, see, that is like a classic example of the Nordstrom myth.
Yes.
That they want you to be happy.
Yes. And a brand is a promise of an experience. And that was not fulfilling their experience.
Yeah. And once the saleswoman heard that every, that when Kelly put her shoes on, it wasn't that she was thinking negatively of Nordstrom, but the connection, right? And the saleswoman picked up on that very quickly. So I thought, see, that to me is a terrific story about a specific customer service story that makes a difference.
Yeah, it really does. So speaking of job descriptions, for 2 years, I worked in my wife's father's funeral home in Oak Park, Illinois.
Oh, yes. You and I have talked about this, which I find to be fascinating. So
it is fascinating. It was fascinating on so many levels. It was a really great experience. It was a good experience for me because I was on the front line of customer service. You're meeting with families that are not in the best place, actually.
Oh my gosh,
right?
That's gotta be rough.
Yeah. It's in stark contrast to when I worked in a liquor store on Nantucket. Everybody that came into the liquor store in Nantucket was really happy.
They couldn't. They loved you.
They loved everything.
Absolutely.
Not so happy people coming to the funeral home.
Yes.
So, and I write about this in my book too, this example, but I learned early on that basically we needed to do anything we possibly could to make sure that the families were comfortable. If there was like some sort of a visitation or viewing or something like that was going on, you're throwing this sounds strange. You're throwing a party. It's almost like you're a wedding planner, but instead of having 6 months or a year to plan the wedding, you have 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having a big group of people, and you need to be hospitable. And then there's a host, and you're not really the host. This family that that your client is the host technically. Right. So I learned something about observation and actually sort of overhearing. I listened. I was kind of eavesdropping, to be honest with you. You kind of lurk in the, to make sure everything's okay. Can I get anything? Can I get water or whatever? And sure. I heard somebody say that they were hungry. And I just thought to myself, whoa, they said, no, we can't leave. This is our visitation. We're not going to go get food. And I thought about it for a second. And I'm like, this is not my job description, but I'm gonna go get them food. Mm-hmm. So I didn't say, hey, I was just eavesdropping and I heard you were hungry, but I just kind of went in and said, hey, does anybody happen to be hungry? Something like that. Yeah. And they said, oh man, we're starving. And I'm like, well, here's the menu from the hamburger place across the way. just put down, what you want. And I'll go order it and pick it up, and I'll bring it in to this, this room.
Right.
I mean, the looks on their face. I mean, and then afterwards, the one good thing about the funeral business is you don't get this in your normal business, but people hug you afterwards and say, like, I couldn't have gotten through this without you.
Oh, wow.
You made it. So it was very rewarding in that way. It was like sort of being that part wedding planner and, part, sort of almost minister. But
right. Yeah.
But I learned that there is no job definition. There is, if your job is to serve, then figure out how to serve, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they talked about that. They told other people about it.
Of course they did. Yeah. And that's the thing about these stories, is that when you have an incredible, unexpected customer experience, it becomes a story that people share, right?
Yes.
Something that I wrote in my book Uncopyable, I said that, a richly imprinted experience wants to be remembered. It wants to be repeated. Now, maybe not necessarily in the funeral home business, okay, and it wants to be shared. And that's one of the things I talk about with customer service is that's what the experience is all about. Is if you're not doing some type of an experience that they, want to repeat or they want to share, then you're just providing customer service.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So what's another?
Okay, I'll share one last one here for us, since our time is almost up. But
okay.
And I think I've talked about my client Jim McInvale down in Texas at the Gallery Furniture Stores. He's known as Mattress Mac.
Sure.
He's the guy who's very famous in Houston for back when the hurricane hit Houston. And he went online and he said, "Hey, if you need a place, if you're displaced and you need a place to stay, you can come and you can sleep on our beds, sleep on our couches, we'll take care of you," right? And he took care of stuff. So I'm down there working, I'm down there working with them, and we're in a meeting with the warehouse people, the delivery people, and I did not know this about Jim or Mac, whatever you want to call him. But he has a very unique set of orders to his delivery people. So, and I said, "Do you guys, anybody here have a good customer service story?" And a whole bunch of hands go up. And I pointed at this one guy, and he said, "Oh yeah." He said, "Last week, my partner and I were delivering a bed set to a woman out, at a small ranch outside on the outskirts of Houston. And we get there and, we put in, we deliver it, we take everything, and we're supposed to clean everything out, take all the stuff that they don't need anymore. And we go back out there and what we're supposed to do is, what Jim has told us to do is that after we have installed everything and we're all done, we're getting, and we're finished. So our last question is there anything that you need done around the house that we can help you with?" And this woman said, "Well, yeah, my husband was hurt and he had a little accident on the ranch last week, and he's unable to work that well, and I'm getting behind. And right now, it's late in the day, and I still need to milk the cows, and I still need to exercise the horses." Right. And the two guys, they said, "No sweat." And they took off, and one of them ran out to where the cattle were in the barn and hooked them all up to get milk. The other guy ran out to where the horses were in the corral and jumped on one of the horses and took off to exercise the horse. And they just, ran around and did all this sort of stuff. And they took care of this woman. Right. Well, I mean, wow. By as luck would have it, they both grew up on on ranches down in Houston. And
is that in the employee manual? Is there a line item for milking cows and exercising horses?
Well, apparently it is now, because
okay, it is now.
So they, and so now here's the thing is, you ask yourself the question, what did this woman think about these guys? What did they think about Gallery Furniture and Mattress Mac in his store?
Before and after that.
Oh yeah. Later on, I shared this story on a webcast or a podcast, another program, right? I was being interviewed, and one of the listeners chimed in and said, I would, when I send my delivery people out, their job is to go deliver. I would never do that. Mm. And my response to him was, be glad you're not competing with Mattress Mac. I said, because this is not just an outstanding customer service story, a myth that can be shared. And we know this woman has probably told this story to every single person she knows. But that was like that was, there's a first impression, there's a last impression.
Right.
Those are the two most important impressions in a relationship. And so now for Mattress Mac, the last impression was these guys exercising the horses, milking the cows, taking care of this woman and a problem that she had at her house.
Yeah. You and I had a meeting yesterday where we were talking through some things, and we were talking about the term legendary.
Yes.
Or a legend, which is such a great word. But, how can you, as a listener, in whatever business you're in, how can you make what you do legendary?
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts by empowering people that are on the front lines to be able to do things and to not penalize people for spending extra time or even extra money satisfying customers and doing things that may not be in the job description.
Yep.
You don't become legend by just doing the regular, what's required.
Yeah.
You go above and beyond.
Yep. And typically the companies that you read about who are enormously successful, who have that human to human contact, it's common to hear stories, where they are going above and beyond to take care of their customers.
Right.
And that's our point. Our point is that it's not just going above and beyond, but it's also going above and beyond in ways that are meaningful to the people who you count on to write your paycheck. I'm not talking to you, not Dave.
Oh, okay.
Dave. I'm talking to the people who are listening to this.
Yes.
Look, I like you say, look for ways to be legendary. I say, create a myth and then carry your myth with you.
Yes. One fun thing that we could go out on is there's a grocery store called Sainsbury in the UK, and there's something called Tiger Bread that they sell, and a 3.5-year-old sent them a note that said, "This doesn't really look like a tiger; it looks more like a giraffe," because it was more spotted and not striped.
Okay. All right.
They sent him a note back and said, "You're absolutely right. When we first started making the bread, it was more striped, and now it looks more spotted. We're renaming it giraffe bread."
I love it. I love it.
They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that.
No, they didn't have to do that. But that's and of course that's a great story. Take us out of here, buddy.
All right. Well, another really, really fun and interesting and true stories here at the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast with not the rock star Steve Miller and the voice, the Dave Loomis. Join us again And look for our YouTube channels where we're putting up the videos of these, either Steve's or mine. And like us, listen to us, subscribe, tell your friends, share it, and comment. We still are looking for questions and comments, and we still want to do a listener sort of feedback type episode.
That's right. That's right. Thanks,
That's
kids.
it. That's it. Thanks. We'll see you later.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing, keep on selling.